Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Chapter 9.5 Notes. Today we're talking about factoring a quadratic trinomial into two binomials. In the previous section, we learned how to multiply polynomials, and we talked about doing that with two different methods. One was FOIL, and the other was the box method. Okay? So what we're going to do, just to quickly review, is I'm going to do FOIL. X times x is x squared. The outside, 7 times x is 7x. The inside is 4x. And then you will multiply 4 times 7, that gives us 28. Okay? Combine your like terms, and we get an answer of x squared plus 11x plus 28. Okay? So now we're going to work backwards and factor polynomials to find which factors we multiplied to obtain that result. So, excuse me. So, working backwards now. So we're going to start with an answer that looks like that, and we're going to go and find out what we started with. Okay, so the factor trinomials, we have to make sure that they are an ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, a, b, and c are just the coefficients. So step number 1 is to check to see if there's a GCF for all terms. Okay, after we do that, we identify a, b, and c. So we have to write the factors of AC and find out the factors that add up to B and multiply to AC. And then we split the term. You might be like, whoa, that sounds like garbage right now. It's like, I don't really understand any of it. That's okay. Okay, the key thing, add up to B, multiply to AC. So, off to the side. Check to see if there's a GCF for all the terms. So let's identify. A is 1, B is 11, C is 28. Okay, so A, B, C. Okay, that's where those numbers come from. So now what we have to do is multiply A times C. So A times C is 28. And what are the factors of 28? So 1 times 28, 2 times 14, 3 no, 4 and 7. So what numbers add up to get to 11 will multiply to get to 28? And I'm looking at the list that's over here. Okay? Well, the only ones that I think of are right here. 4 plus 7, that gives us 11. And 4 times 7 gives us 28. They have to work in both of those. Okay? So, by splitting the middle term, which is the 11, I'm going to change that to 4x plus 7x. Okay? Now the x squared comes down, and the 28 comes down. Now that we've done that, I'm going to draw a line down here to kind of split them in half. And now I want the GCF of the first term. So what can you pull out? Well, I can pull out an x, and we'd be left with x, and then x plus 4. And that's what we were doing a couple days ago. Now on the second term, And the second half back here, I can pull out a 7. And then we'd be left with positive 7 x plus 4. Now, if you notice, those are the same. That's good. This is our check right here to make sure we did the problem right. So we have x plus 4 over here. And now the 7 and the x come together, and we get x plus 7. Okay? So this is our final answer, the x plus 7 and x plus 4. Okay? So now if we wanted to, we could distribute that x plus 7, x plus 4 to see if we get it right. So FOIL it, x squared plus 4x plus 7x plus 28. Oh, no. And it's good because we got our original answer. So that's the proof that we did it right. And that's our final answer. Okay. Let's do some more examples. D is 1, B is 9, C is 18. Okay. I want the factors of 18, which are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So what numbers add to get to 9, but multiply to get to 18? So you should be looking, is it 1 and 18, 2 and 9? I don't know. 3 and 6? 3 and 6, I think they might work. 3 plus 6, that gives us 9. 3 times 6, that gives us 18. Okay? So, when we split the middle term, it's 3m plus 6m. The m squared comes down, and the 18 comes down. So draw the line. Divide the bottom, or the first part, by m, and we get m plus 3. The GCF back here is 6. So 6, and then m plus 3. Checkpoint right there. Everything is good. So those two come together, and we get m plus 3. And those come together, and we get m plus 6. That's not too bad, was it? All right, let's try another one. So a equals 1, b equals 9, c equals 20. When you multiply a and c, we get 20. So what are the factors of 20? 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So what two numbers add up to get to 9 and multiply to get to 20? Why don't you guys pause the video and see if you can figure that out. Okay, hopefully you got 4 and 5, because 4 plus 5 is 9, and 4 times 5 is 20. So we split the middle term, 4w plus 5w. The w squared comes down, and the 20 comes down. draw your line. I'm going to take a W out of the first one. And on the back, I'm going to take a 5. Okay, so checkpoint. That's good. So W plus 4. And W plus 5. And make sure to put a box around your answer. I forgot to do it on the last one. Okay. Alrighty. Let's look at 3. So 3A is 1, B is 1, and C is negative 6. Okay. Now, I want the factors to get to negative 6, and we're going to worry about exactly the positive negatives later, but just know that it's 1 and 6, 2 and 3. So this is where we have to start trying things out. Oops. Adds up to get to 1 and multiplies to negative 6. So what numbers are we looking for? Well, the only ones where I can get combinations of 1 are going to be the 2 and the 3. Okay? So 2 and 3. Oh, that's kind of hard to read. Let's pick a different color. Now, 2 plus, well, one of these has to be negative. So let's try negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, but 2 plus negative 3 is not 1. Okay? So that means we have to start over. Well, what about negative 2? Negative 2 times 3 is 1, and negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So there's our answer. So when we split, after we split, everything else is the same. W squared minus 2W plus 3W minus 6. Okay? And we draw the line, pull out the W, and you get W minus 2. And back here we pull out the 3 and W minus 2. So our checkpoint is good. We did it right. So there we get W minus 2. And W plus 3. There's your final answer. All right, you guys want to try 4? Why don't you pause the video? I'll help you out at the very beginning. So we got A is 1, B is 8, C is negative 20. So you want to do the multiples of 20. Add to get to 8 and multiply to negative 20. So why don't you guys go ahead and see if you can figure all that stuff out. All right, good luck. Okay, so you should have gotten negative 2 and positive 10. And now I want you to pause the video and finish the problem out, okay? Good luck. Okay, and there's all the work to get the answer. Now, this is going to be it for the first part of the video. Since this is already 15 minutes, we'll go through every single problem on the back in the second half, okay? So, if you keep watching, good. If you think you got a hang of it, why don't you just look at the answer key and you'll be able to see everything from there. All right, guys, I'll see you in video number 2.